During the August 30th episode, The Shoe Falls, Val and Amber review the clues for the week ahead.
There's been a bunch of fires this week, and they're just like a spark, which is Uranus.
The Aquarius card has that cow.
And it looks like naked people will be walking around too.
Clothing optional event.
4 days later, an explosion makes headlines. Then a prediction for Taylor Swift.
This could be somebody famous that is a Leo quality. Now, it could be Taylor Swift.
5 days later, a shocking scandal.
It could be some kind of upset. I mean, it could be just a big breakup.
Oh, the Knight of Cups. This to me feels like a shocking breakup.
We do get Black Moon Lilith when it comes to weather events. Is there going to be a flooding? Hello, everyone. I'm Val Evans. Thanks for joining me. I've got Amber with Taurus Moon Tarot here today, and thanks for watching us live or on the replay. I am glad that you're here today. It's September 6th, and we are pretty much out of retrograde. I'm so happy about that. We're going to be talking about a lot of things royal. There were a few things that came up last week that weren't so in the royal category, but we did see some things come up as far as predictions from a Leo perspective, like Taylor Swift, fires. So sometimes when we see that and we see it in the cards, we can't help but comment on it. So if you were just joining us for the first time, this show is all about how you can make predictions in your own life using astrological charts. We can forecast events in our own lives by watching the Astrology of England and the royal family. For ad-free content, click the join button and get our predictions with no interruptions. And a special thanks to the valedictorians, the members who make this content possible. We are live every Friday at 4:30 Eastern, 9:30 p.m. BST, England time. And I just wanted to make a couple of announcements before we start. I've got 2 books on Amazon. Check them out. Career Code, the secret career code. Great for making predictions with your career. And for Forensic Astrology 101, if you are a true crime fanatic, it's always interesting to see the astrological charts when it comes to crime. I've got some classes coming up at the end of the month. Check them out. And you can go to my website, astrologywithval.as.me, and you will see the calendar there. Just click on, and there's more information about the classes. But very basic astrology classes. We're going to talk about the houses and everything that pertains to astrology, and you can apply them to yourself, to crime, and make predictions. So very, very simple class. So I think you're going to like it. I mean, can you believe it? And it's just, a lot of people can see that when Neptune is on sheet, and can be very, it can foretell a lot of tragedies. So, and we're not done yet, because when Saturn moves towards Neptune, and that won't be for quite a few months till next year, that's going to be a whole other group of events that we'll talk about. This is Amber's handle on YouTube at Taurus Moon Tarot 761. Make sure to go on over to her channel and see what she's up to. Or if you just want to reach out, and her information, if you'd like a reading, you can go into the description box and you can get her email there. We are going to be talking about a few things today, but I wanted to ask you what your thought was when we saw the Black Moon Lilith, and we're about to talk about this in this next chart.
Yeah.
What, I guess in your mind, is Black Moon Lilith really a thing?
Well, I've experienced it. So in my mind and world, it is a thing. It can be an energy that just invades you and makes your life maybe a little more complicated or difficult than it might have otherwise been. And you did my solar return chart, and I locked it in here, for many months. This was a long time ago. And I knew that I had that sort of appearing in my world. And I believe it was in the 12th house, which is that hidden enemies?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a, very black-haired woman at work. I think it was aspecting 6th house. Anyway, the whole thing unfolded in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and not obviously, sort of hidden and then revealed.
Oh.
So it
Mhm.
was interesting, but
Yeah, nefarious energy. And when we're talking, I'm like, I'll look at a chart. I
mhm,
mean, for anybody, like I talk to really nice people, and it's hard
yeah,
to believe somebody would have someone who is in the wings there wanting to, take
yeah,
control or do something that is just plain mean and nasty. And
shady, and yeah, yeah.
sometimes it pops up.
But it was interesting because the way that I ended up having it come toward me, I felt prepared because I had it back here, and I did feel prepared to manage accordingly and navigate without the drama, and I did. And
Yeah, and that's a great way to look at it too. It's like,
yeah,
okay, it's there.
yeah,
Wipe them from the story, from the
yes,
yearly story. So, okay, that is so interesting. And, we all have Black Moon Lilith in
yeah,
our solar return charts. It's just, how is it going to affect you? Who is it going to represent? Will it be a friend?
right,
Will it be, sometimes it can even be a parent or somebody close
mhm,
to you where,
right,
and it's hard to believe, but sometimes they are just,
yeah,
they're not themselves during the year, or it could be a cousin or a significant other.
right,
Most of the time when I talk to people and they're dealing with the Black Moon Lilith energy, it
yeah,
it tends to be somebody who's pretty close to them, and they're like,
mm,
this person doesn't act like they're normal this year. So
right, yeah,
Lala says, so being born with a 12th house sun, does that mean I have a lifetime of hidden enemies? No, it does not.
no,
You would have to look and see if it has that sun, your sun has red lines or blue lines. Sometimes it can be really good because you're able to be kind of the man or woman behind the curtain,
yeah,
and you're able to control things without people seeing you. So if
mhm,
you're an introvert, 12th house things can be really good. If
yeah,
you are an extrovert, it can be very frustrating because you want
yeah,
to be up in that 10th house.
yeah,
Thank you, Buckeye Clay fan. And Natalie's here. Thank you, Face Painter. And thank Frankie Blue. I can't say that. Teresa, I'm just going to say Teresa. And Inga, thank you. So let me finally get to these charts. I think we've got everybody in here.
yeah,
And let me see here. Okay. So this is the chart for Sunday, this Sunday,
mhm,
midnight, and it's for London.
okay,
And so before, in last week's show, we saw something kind of similar, but the elevated planet, instead of Rahu, you see right up at the top, it was Neptune before. So it
right,
was suddenly a scandal broke out. There
right,
was, there were themes of falling. If everybody will remember, the name of the show was The Shoe Falls.
right,
So just days later, we saw headlines about Grenfell,
yeah,
and the explosion, the apartments, and all the back
yes,
stories that came with that. I mean, who
yeah,
knew?
yeah,
And I remember you said something too. You were like, I had no idea of,
no idea that
yeah.
they were investigating these years later, but we've talked about that event a few
Mhm.
times in the past several months. It's come up. It's interesting that
Apartment
it's
buildings, right?
resurfaced. Yeah.
And then just, I think it was today or yesterday, a Royal Navy officer's
Yes.
helicopter falls into, the English Channel, I think, and was
Yes.
doing exercises, which is so tragic. And so there was that falling type of theme there, but
Yeah.
also, what do we see? Because we have experience with not only Black Moon Lilith, which is at the bottom there, but
Yeah.
we have experience with Venus too, which can show
Mm.
sometimes a devious person. A devious
Yeah.
person, Now, what does South Node mean there with that trio? It
Yeah.
sometimes means someone who wants to purge something, get it
Mm,
out there, but
mm,
there is a big clash. And I think this definitely speaks to what's going on with Taylor Swift, whether there is a fake contract in place with her man Travis Kelce or
yeah.
not. You're seeing this a little bit, but I think it's just one of a few
Mhm.
situations, and I think the royals are still involved. I mean, let's face it,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is she is a queen, queen of
Yeah.
pop music. But I guess should we first of all, why don't we talk about our cards that we pulled? You
Yes.
had pulled we both pulled the sun, which
I
I thought
pulled it twice. You
yeah,
pulled it. Yes, I pulled it twice in 2 decks. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
and
let's see.
the Hierophant and the Sun, actually, they popped out together, just ding! It was like a ping fly. I barely picked up the cards, and it was the first 2, and you had already pulled the Sun, and I thought, "Well, I'll stop here." So this is really about a highlight of the firm or the establishment and highlighting something about that. And the sun in the upright, it's good. It's a good thing. It's power. It's vitality. Good things. And then I pulled it. We sort of started thinking about Camilla, and I pulled the sun again in a different deck with the Chariot. So it's that Cancer Leo combination, which is something really, quickly taking place, something moving forward. And she is a Cancer rising, I think you might have said. I always associate the sign of Cancer with her. But again, about health and vitality and, good things and productivity and happiness and something going forward quickly related to the firm with that Hierophant. That's what I had.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting that you say chariot, which I did not get, and I saw something in the chart, which hopefully I'll remember. I'm going to bring up in a bit, but so the chariot could mean something very literal and
Mhm.
figurative. So could it
Right.
mean her? It's funny when I put her photo on the thumbnail,
Yeah.
she's in. I mean, when isn't she
Like,
in a carriage, right? But yeah, she was in a
yes.
carriage. And
Yeah.
so I'm not sure if the carriage literally has something to do with it. It very well could. Let me just show this. So my question, oh, and by the way, I got to do this. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got the Queen of Swords,
Mhm.
and then I also got the World reversed.
Mm.
And so then I got that with the sun. So
Yeah.
to me, I was thinking, there's a lot of stuff happening with the world and chaos and things going on. And
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody, maybe Camilla, is gaining more power behind the scenes because they're not focused on certain things that she's focused on.
Yeah.
And it really looks like she's stepping in to have more power than maybe some people would like. And I'm seeing a lot of jealousy too.
Mm. Mm. Oh,
So,
interesting. I pulled the 8th house card,
oh,
revenge and jealousy, and with the Leo card in the astrological deck. So very interesting Leo energy with the sun. And then that card came out with the 8th
yeah,
house.
if you think about it, it's like we have this woman who was hated for decades, and
Yes.
then suddenly she is the most powerful, if not second to most, but by
Yeah.
proxy, she's the most powerful in the sense, the head of the firm.
Yeah.
And you would just think automatically that there's going to be some jealousy there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Really
part of it.
interesting.
Okay, now my question to you is
Mm.
we have this T-square. Now this is going to take place, so we can focus on this as far as mundane events for England,
Yeah.
and as well as royal events. But there's this person is abusive. This person is lying, and
Mm.
the way that I get that, and then I'm going to ask you the question, is that you can see how when you have Mars in, hopefully you can see this.
In
Yeah, when you have
Cancer.
Mars in
Yeah.
Cancer, that's automatic abuse,
Abuse.
abusive talk at the very least.
Right.
Then you have North Node. North Node is like gasoline, so it's
Mhm.
super abusive, and it's also lying, and it's also
Hmm.
It's like an alibi that's not working because it's in this T-square. But this person, this woman is, I'm trying to
Is
think of
it
it. I'm
I'm
trying.
literally thinking of the sentence, "A lie of abuse."
Okay.
Someone
Yes.
lying,
Oh,
creating a false allegation or something, around that. Hmm.
okay. And thank you, Heather, by the way. And Heather has
Mm.
4 cups reversed. Hmm.
That I had that earlier.
You
I
really?
had that earlier before we started, I did. Yeah,
So that's water
it
making.
is. It's, to me, I always sort of feel the sense of restlessness with that, that
Okay.
it's status quo is unacceptable, and there's a restless energy to it in I'd love Heather's feedback. I'd love what her take is, but I get a restless energy.
Okay. Uh, the because we've got Libra in the mix, this is a relationship. I still think this is part of the whole Taylor Swift debacle. It looks like there are people lying. It to me looks like there very well could have been a faux contract of some sort. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary in the showbiz.
Yeah.
So there could have been, and I know we're talking about the royals, but just to follow up on last week, but this could also be somebody who knows about the contracts, which is Libra. Libra represents contracts. And this is a contract person. So I wonder, um, I need to know more about
Yeah.
this villain, this female villain. She might have red hair with that square to Mars. And also, I think she's also battling with someone here. This is Mercury and Leo. That could be Taylor Swift, but it could also be a completely different story and representing a battle with a royal. So, wondered if you could give us a hint
Hmm.
on this woman again who's still in the mix this week.
So yes, the question is, who is it? Is that the question?
Yes,
Tell
who
us
is
about
it?
who
Who
is
is
it.
it? And
Who is
maybe just give us a profile of who she is, or I guess.
So I have the Fool card, and you say redhead. That is Aries, which could be a redhead.
No
And actually,
way.
this deck,
God.
yes, they are a little bit redhead. But I also have, this is like a female, possibly investor or someone who has a financial gain or investment involved, like their money is tied to something with the Seven of Pentacles. Someone quite, possibly someone young-ish, I would say, not someone, ooh, yes, Queen of Wands, another redhead, with the Queen of Swords. This is a female fight, with words, and the King of Swords. Oh my gosh, when there's so many people. Justice card. There's our Libra right there. Ace of Wands. This is someone, it reminds me of the storyline with Taylor where she battled against her music rights and ownership of that music. This feels like there's a little bit more of that, and it could go to court. It could be a court situation over this leaked contract, or if it's real or not real. I don't know if it's her suing someone or someone suing her. She could be sued.
It is a tough week for music because when you see that stellium there, those are musicians. So, this could be
Right.
Oasis, the Oasis contract. Somebody's stuck here and they are pissed and they are coming out this week, probably using even more abusive language. We saw that last week.
Yeah.
But with Mercury right on Regulus, Mercury this week, for the chart that I drew for this week,
Yeah.
it's right on that Regulus, and it really looks like somebody loses their head this week. We talked a little bit about that, the neck, the head. Royals should not be riding around on horses and on top of carriages. Would you agree?
I would agree. I mean, the Fool can be very, they can do things without even thinking. So, take skydiving, jumping out of an airplane, like don't do that. But the group, the person, who it is, it's almost like it's a group energy with a lot of power. I mean, you have the King and Queen of Swords with the sword, the Queen of Wands with lots of power and energy, and the Ace of Wands, which is like, we have an army behind. We are big and we are powerful, and we're not backing down. This is a not back down moment. And if it's to do with Libra things, justice, contracts, agreements, and things like that.
Wow.
Possibly financial.
Well, I know Angela Rayner, the Labor Deputy Secretary, is putting her foot down when it comes to, the pensioners and heating costs coming up, and really kind of brushing it off. And I believe there's now they're bringing it back for another vote, and so there's a fight. I hope the pensioners are benefiting in the end here, but she could be that redhead where she, and that's so typical Black Moon Lilith. That energy is like, I don't care if you freeze in the winter. That's not my problem. I think there was even something that came out in the news where somebody's like, well, maybe you just move in with your family then during the winter. It's a mess, I think. So that could be a subject.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. So let's get to the next one here. This is Camilla's solar return chart. And we started her solar return chart just recently. And if you're looking at this for the first time, if you've never been to this channel, you will want to draw your solar return chart on AstroSeek. And when you get it, you click the tab that says solar only, and you're going to see the ascendant in a sign. Now for her, it's going to be in Capricorn this year. So that's birthday to birthday for her. And the ruling planet for her is Saturn, retrograde in Pisces. But here's the thing, it's in a very nice blue grand trine. She seems to be okay. She's not great, but so interesting that it's in that second house of finances, income, and assets. So what we did was we started here with her, first birthday month, July 17th to August 17th. Then she's in this second house until September 17th. So right now she's in the second house here. And wow, somebody is coming in. You see this? Look at that Black Moon Lilith here. And so what happens when you see that in your chart and you're like, oh God, like you see an opposition. That's usually, it's either it's a red line basically to Black Moon Lilith. It's like, okay, so there's a line to Neptune. Well, Neptune rules her second house. So this is somebody, and we talked a little bit about this before. This could be a gardener, because the second house is Taurus. It could be losing her voice. Sometimes with Black Moon Lilith, it can be a health problem where she wants to speak, but she can't speak. You said something.
We did. That just popped into my head about her. Yes, because the Queen of Swords is about speaking and verbalizing.
Right. Yep. You said that with the cards, and you said quite a bit about that because of Taurus. And I think we were looking at another chart, but this kind of works into that theme. So it makes sense. She is supposed to be getting something this month because North Node with a blue line means you're going to get something. And it looks like she's going to get something from her husband, Jupiter. Weird how Jupiter is in Gemini. This is husband is speaking. Maybe they're speaking together. There's a speech. I know they're supposed to be traveling soon. But okay, what I wanted to ask you was, this is coming up because we're starting to see some red lines come up, and anybody's going to see this in their charts from year to year. You might see a square, but when I see this Chiron, this is a square to the sun. This is your physical body, and this is a wound, and it's in the third house of the Chariot. So is she going to be at risk of injury between September 17th and October 17th?
The Devil card.
Oh.
I'm going to clarify that. This needs clarification. Five of Pentacles. Yes, there is a loss. This almost looks like loss of financial control of something. The Five of Pentacles, the Devil, that's like being tied financially to something that may not best suit you. She might have some money things. I don't see an injury. Okay. But the Devil card is Capricorn. It's Saturn. So if there was injury, and this is our first card that came out, I don't know what part of the body Saturn represents or Capricorn represents.
Well, let's see. It's the bones. It's like breaking a bone.
Breaking a bone. In this image, it's always the same in each card, but it just stands out in this particular deck how they are chained around their necks.
Oh, wait, let me see. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
They have the chains around their necks. They're tied to each other around their neck.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Okay. Well, yeah, the Chiron gives me a little bit of pause. However, you can see that there is a trine, a blue line to Mercury and Leo. And this looks as if there is some kind of communication. Maybe she's going to the mountains, which is what Leo is. It's the mountains. It's fun. It's talking about being the queen. She's doing a lot about, that might even help her heal a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Chiron is the healing symbol. But interesting too, you can see when you look at the third house and also Mercury, that's kind of what's on your mind for the year. So let's see what it is for Camilla. Mercury is, her mind is not only on the partner, which is seventh house, but on being a royal, and being a queen. She's thinking about being a queen. And the third house is in Aries. So I got to say, this month coming up, September 17th to October 17th will be somewhat challenging for her. We have Chiron there in Aries. It's something is going to make her mad. And with part of fortune is in a T square. So there is an effort to do something. This could be up an apartment. It could be just like you said, something financial too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The other thought I had was with the Devil is about addictions. Is she a smoker or was?
I know she was, but.
So I wonder if there's something that Taurus, the neck, the throat, the voice, does she lose her voice? There's something around that COPD or I don't know around the smoking because that's addictions with the Devil.
And the sun is also smoking. Leo and Sun are smoking. Mercury in Leo would be thinking about smoking, That's interesting that you say that. And Eleanor B, you say my friend is Capricorn and broke her leg in 2 places at the beginning of the week. And so I'm really sorry to hear about that. That is, I've never actually had that happen, but that sounds pretty painful. Have you ever had a broken bone?
I have. I've broken almost every toe because I'm clumsy.
Oh no. Oh, it's so painful. And with Capricorn, it can be bones, but Sagittarius is also legs too. So Sagittarius, sometimes. Yeah. Hey, Toy, nice to see you. And Janie Doe said getting something Royal Lodge, maybe trying to, and can't. But to me, Chiron is, and it's pretty, let me see here. Hold on one second. It is right on that third cusp. And this is, Aries can be your head too. So maybe a terrible migraine. I don't know. But, she's not queen yet and she's getting these headaches. But yeah. All right. Now, I just wanted to look. This is the last chart I'm going to show of Camilla's. But if you really want to see your chart in all its glory right now.
Yeah.
It's the progressed transit chart, because your progressed chart is really your birth chart now. It's, how your soul has progressed. And so you would look at the green planets on the inside as your birth chart, really. And then the orange symbols or planets are the transits. So they're ping ponging off your natal charts at any given time. And so you want to see what's going on. Looky what we have here. Do you see it?
Black Moon Lilith.
Lilith. And we've got Pluto on there, which is like a million Black Moon Liliths, or like the worst villain in the world who is the most jealous. Okay.
Right.
So this is intense energy. Now her ascendant is in Virgo, and we've seen this before. Just wanted to remind you that the last 2 years she's coming out of Virgo. Virgo can mean health matters, constant. Well, what did the doctor say here? And what did, oh, we're going to the hospital. Oh, we're going to get this test. Sometimes that happens when you're a Virgo rising, but she's going to be going into Libra here. So that's one thing that's about to change for her. But let's see who this Mars is, because that's the person who is really given her a problem. And and it's the Lord of the 8th house. And this, I think, is the firm. The 8th house is usually the higher ups, the corporate level, the CEOs, the CXO level. And these people do not, well, they don't have her best interests in mind. And then I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'm going to ask you a question. She right now, I'm going to put her in blue. She's here. This is Mercury, because it's the rising sign of the chart. So that's Virgo rising sign is right there. And look how there is, I think this is the firm. And the red line here is they don't want anything to do with her yet. This is Charles. Charles is Neptune. He's the Lord of the 7th house. They will only talk to him. So you can really, I think, see it in her progressed transit chart. These, the courtiers or whoever, we're talking about here. I don't want to name names, but you can easily Google them.
Yeah.
They just want to talk to Charles. So this seems to be like a real hard time, but I think she's got more power than what they really would like to see. So I thought maybe we should talk about that for a second with regard to the cards.
Well, the card with the world in reverse that you had originally, that's a delay, or when you drew the aspects just now, it almost looked like, as you were talking, they're going around her, like just going around her. And the world in reverse could show that too, that she's being.
I would like to know what is Camilla's next move? This is chess. Yes.
Ooh. Well, she's not going down without a fight, and it could be around real estate. So 5 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. This is standing up for something and, ready to pick up your sword and battle, and feeling victorious. This guy is really feeling like he's defeated his opponents, and it could be around this real estate.
She's getting what she wants.
She gets what she wants.
And if it's not that palace, then it's going to be that palace, and she'll be comfortable. But we can talk about it like this, but really, she's dealing with someone who is going through some serious health problems. So it's not like it's a real thrill for her right now. She's got her mind on health matters.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is King Charles III. So I wanted to look at his solar return chart again. And we are coming up now. This is September 14th right here in his chart, and this goes to October 14th. So the moon is right here. this is going to be a tough month. It's interesting. We were just talking about legs. Well, Sagittarius is legs. It's horses. It's long distance travel. And so he might be talking about that trip. They might actually go on that trip, but it certainly looks as if something gets stopped. Because when you have Saturn, that means to stop. And it's not making it an exact aspect, but you know what this means? That this might not necessarily mean directly anything about King Charles, but this is 2 deaths. And this starts September 14th to October 14th. And so I don't know what that is about. Why is it 2? Because Mercury is 2. And then Moon plus Saturn is either a death or a funeral. So, gosh.
Is Saturn in the 6th house?
Yes, Saturn's in the 6th house.
My first thought was, before I noticed that, my first thought was a trip is halted due to health, his health.
Yes, 6th house health.
My initial thought was it reminded me of my dad at the end of his battle. We had a big trip planned, the whole family to go abroad, and we ended up, the doctor told us, no, it's not a good time. His health is too precarious. So we didn't go on the trip. So it made me think of that, like a trip abroad is halted.
Trip abroad is halted. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And 6th house is work and health. So I'm sure, and it's also depression. Mercury, when you have a square in your chart, and it's a square to. It's also thinking about death too, because when you're a king, you've got to plan your own funeral.
Yes.
And so that could also be part of what's going on with him. Well, let's get to the next month, because this is even more intense, I think. And this is October 14th to November 14th. I think this again might be a courtier, and this is Black Moon Lilith, and so we got to keep an eye out for that. And so we've got this T square. Sometimes Virgo can be a worker, but it can also be a health problem. A health problem really, really, it looks like he's really taken a step back at the very least in these next 2 months. So I guess my question to you is, and I've asked you, many, many months ago, and we were thinking, it could be a reporter, it could be a worker. I really think somebody might be trying to take advantage of him. Of him, but it could also be a disease too, because Black Moon Lilith can be a disease when you're older, especially. So what do you think?
It makes me think of a hospitalization too in the 12th house. Is it barely there into the 12th house, like going into hospital? Let's see. I'm thinking in my head, your question is someone taking advantage. And I'm going to say no. Yes, this is Temperance. This is Sagittarius. This feels like a hospital, like an extended period, not in a home, or it has to be seen by, I'm not saying hospice.
Okay.
Hospital.
It doesn't look good to me. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. It is, but at the very least, it could be just not wanting to work because you're depressed. You're not yourself, but let's go. Wait, give me one more shot at this, because we've got this T square. And what do we do when we see an opposition, especially? We look at Saturn and we see what it represents. And this is a family member. Okay, so family member could be doing something naughty. This could be a son. Okay, and I'd say blue eyes, but I think they both have blue eyes since Saturn's in Neptune. Look how there's Mercury here, which is 2 famous sons.
Yeah.
And so this is picking up. This is ugly. It's his sons too that are trying to do something against each other. Let me see. One more thing. Mercury for him is for Charles, for King Charles, Mercury is the MC Lord, and it's also the Lord of the chart. So I think there's some nasty stuff with the family and the brothers and the sons and him.
Yeah.
They just cannot agree on something.
Yeah. What could it be? It's a Temperance card again. Oh. So Temperance, 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands. I will share these. Knight of Swords in reverse and the 7 of Swords. This is definitely a verbal out there argument. It is spatting words, and it feels like with the Knight of Swords in reverse, it's someone repeating the same thing over and over and probably doing it publicly. It's a lot of verbal exposition, and it could be lies, like flat out lies. And my Harry card with the 9 of Wands, I don't know if it's him, but or lies about him. But there is something, I doubt that William would ever say anything publicly, but something is coming back around. It's the same story, the same words, the same fight, same disagreement, but it looks public. And no one comes out looking good, and it likely has something to do with mistruths, the 7 of Swords.
So the 7 of Swords is there. That's lies. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's almost like someone gets caught in a lie.
Yeah, because, all right, if this is the energy, hold on. Oh, what?
Well, at the bottom it has the 8 of, it could be a worker, 8 of Pentacles. And then 7 of Cups, which is very confusing, smoke and mirrors kind of illusions around something. There's like maybe a worker's line. I don't know. I think it feels like the brothers have a disagreement, and probably someone speaking out publicly about it, making lies.
If we were to try to get in a little bit more depth here, and this T-square is basically Saturn rules a sun, usually that's going to be William because it's the 5th house. But you could say it's both the suns. This would be 3rd house is communication. This is death of communications. And then Black Moon Lilith is just, pretty nasty thoughts about what one would want to do to the other. And here's the thing, though. So we look at that T-square and we're like, okay, so if that's going to happen, then what's this blue line here to Jupiter? So somebody knows what's going on and might be benefiting from it, or maybe helping. I don't know, but that seems like it's Camilla. And it's also a home too, because the 4th house, the Jupiter is the Lord of Sag, but it's also representing Camilla in Charles's chart. So she is, at the very least, she's privy to what's going on. And I wonder how if she's helping or not.
I feel like we've seen this before with her helping Harry.
Yeah. And it's really financially related. I think she says, look, I'm tired of talking about all of this. Let's just give him something. And so we don't hear from him. Let's have him sign this and sign that.
Yeah.
But, oh gosh, I don't know. It does seem like something scheming to me. I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll find out.
Maybe.
I don't know. Okay. Now, just going to look at the UK, the solar chart. This is the 1801 chart. And we are at, so we would count around in this January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. And so this is September 1st. We are about to get into a lot of talk about the royals, and ninth house would be the press and the courts. But the moon represents this month. So that would be September 1st to October 1st. And it is next to Black Moon Lilith again in this nefarious T square.
Yes.
And so this is going to really give more information about the masses, the politics, the country itself. But there's a woman, and the woman here is in Sag. And so between now and October 1st, this could be an American woman. This could be a foreign woman. It looks like a death to me. It looks like a death of a woman.
Yeah. In the government with the Saturn, or that's the, that's the death.
Yeah, that's possible. Saturn is government. But, there's so many boating themes too. Virgo is health. It looks like this woman might, whoever she is, might be struggling with something. And it seems like she's pretty well known, or she becomes well known. I don't know, but this looks pretty dangerous to me.
Yeah.
So who is this woman?
Queen of Swords in reversed. So certainly powerful woman has fallen, right? Definitely in detriment, someone with power. And this deck is obviously not colorized, but she's typically a reddish blonde. She does not have dark hair. Let's see. I want to ask, what does she do? Well, could have been a barrister, King of Cups. Someone potentially that Charles knows well. I don't know the female politicians outside of Angela at this point. She would certainly not be someone young. I would not say that. She's probably someone older. I got this before with the blonde woman with like a big personality, but probably someone that Charles knows, yes. Or foreign leader's wife.
It seems like this woman has a lot of money. And the reason I say that is because you can see that Venus is sextiling Pluto, which means lots and lots. And so that's either a lot of women, a lot of money, a lot of foreign money. And this maybe could a financial source be shutting down. I don't know.
It feels like if it's another foreign leader, someone with power. I have the King of Wands, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Ace of Swords. And then as soon as you started talking about money, the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles, which is a lot of money, family heirloom wealth, which it could be another royal person.
Person. Okay. I mean, Sagittarius is a horse, so it could be a horsewoman. That would be Anne, maybe. But then once we get into,
I think you're right about the horse thing. There's going to be a horse story because I just peeked at two cards. They were both knights, which are always on horses. So, and it was just two images of horses just back to back.
Okay. So it could be a horsewoman and with a lot of money. And this woman, because it's a square to Black Moon Lilith, is somebody who maybe the public thinks is not really she doesn't go to church. She's nefarious. She's a villain, maybe. Yeah. And so
not
then
the best reputation, perhaps.
Maybe. And then once we're getting into October 1st to November 1st, this really kicks up. So September is just getting started. Then once we get into the 10th house, and this is the UK again, this is good. You want to see this in this T-square, this person, if this was in your chart and you saw something like this, it'd be like, oh, thank God, Gina's not going to be around anymore. Whoever it is, it's like, oh, because it's somebody else that is having to basically, get hit with some karma or leave the building, which is what we want. So these T-squares are not always bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit more there, more. And again, this is the UK chart we're looking at. There's something that has to do with a lot of money that's happening when it comes. This could be jobs, actually. There could be a jobs report, or some jobs are being created for the UK between the announcement could come out between October 1st and November 1st. But you can see this second house is money, and it's in a T-square. This is lots and lots and lots of money. We don't know. I mean, there's something tempting, which would be that square or that trine to Black Moon Lilith. Like, this is all available to you if you want it, and it pays $20,000 more than average, but it's like, is there a catch to it? It's in Virgo, so this could be, we need more, anesthesiologists or something like that. But
could it be something with workers having to travel to, like a travel industry pops up, something in the travel industry, or sending people, sort of to the other island, or going up, somewhere via water.
You know what? Because the moon represents up at the top, represents the ninth house of travel. Yes. Yeah, I think that would be a good traveling nurses. Oh yeah, right. You can make a lot more money. You just have to go down to the border, and do something, or not to say that that's a bad idea. There are a lot of people who have really noble professions helping others. So, but yeah, that's going to be interesting. And so I think that's pretty much all I have. But if you like this show, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to share too. Also, we are going to be back next week talking more about the royals and seeing what's coming up. I've got more Evening Standard, newspaper types of spying, which I love to do. I'm going to see what kinds of stories might be coming out. Did you want to add anything before we go?
No, this has been good. I am excited for next week and see what the week looks like.
Me too. And Lisa, I agree. I hope it's not Anne. Yeah, maybe we'll be hearing about Camilla. We don't know. So I guess we'll have to keep our eyes open this week. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.